small things. Joyce talked about, you know, as you go through your day, what gives you pleasure? Just out of the clear blue one day, I was doing something just that we all do, paying bills. And for me, I write out a check, put it in the envelope, stamp it, and send it to the post office. And I, all of a sudden, just like out of the blue, couldn't understand why I get so much pleasure out of that. So I stopped and thought about it. And the technique was to write about 10 words that describe that. And I thought about it, and went back to 7th grade. A teacher named Mr. Dribble, my personal finance. And he showed and demonstrated the procedure of writing out a check the correct way. And I remember going home that day and I'm going, you know, I finally learned something practical here at school, because I'm probably going to be writing some checks. And from there, I, just going through my life, I got to be about 16. And my father owned an auto parts store. And so I was really excited to help him out by going downtown and picking up auto parts. And this one particular day, I took the van down, pulled up, a lot of cars in there, and I got into the area where they loaded up your truck, and there was a throng of other dealers there trying to pick up their parts. Everybody hollering, why don't you get more help? Why don't you do something about this? I'm in a hurry. And I'm a 16-year-old kid. Saw these adults. And the guy that owned the place came out of the office and he says, all you guys, wait. That man right there is first. And I just walked in. Everybody stared at me, kind of sneered. And he said, the reason he's first is because he pays his bills. Wow, that's powerful. That they would disrupt the whole thing like that. And as I wrote out these checks, and as I do today, I get the bill, open it up, and it's paid within 24 hours. I love sitting down and paying these bills. And what is it? It's a connection for me. I get out KCP&L, and I think about the time I had a customer, later when I had a business, and an adventurous woman. And she told me that she was going to go to work for KCP&L, training to be to climb telephone poles and do that type of work. The next day I read that she had died in that training. She fell off the pole. So when I write a check to KCP&L, I have that connection. And I think about her. Not every time, but that's what makes me so grateful for these services that come into my life. All I have to do is write out a check. When the water bill comes, I think of a friend that almost died from a major water main break. A gas company fellow came in my business and pointed out the furnace that wasn't working properly. I'd have saved the business. I don't know. But it's my connection. And it's what I like to do. And I said, well, maybe I should try this technique of taking some real small, insignificant item in my life and developing it into a talk. It's a lot of risk doing something like that. But what it came from there, what came out even more was that this concept of writing checks is under assault. It's easy to scan or to e-pay or electronic transfers. And people don't understand why I don't just click and why don't I just do that. I know how, but I'm going to hold on to my check writing technique until the day I die. Until the day I die, I'm going to write checks. Maury Schaefer, right when I came up with this thought, passed away. 60 Minutes for a jillion years and like 5,000 stories. And in his obituary I read, I use a Royal manual typewriter. Mark, have you ever used a Royal manual typewriter? You go back that far.
We couldn't afford one.
That's right. At one point I remember having one accessible, and those babies are hard to use. But he wrote even his last story on that, to the day he died. And the reason he gave was, he says, it's what connects me to humanity. You think about some of the stories, how he changed the whole thing with the glass of wine. I'll never forget that, with the French paradox. 40% increase in wine sales because of one story, and all the others he gave. This connection to humanity. Now me too. Like I said, I'm gonna do this till I die, and on my tombstone it's gonna say, paid in full. Credit score, 835. To the day he died. And I'm gonna think, oh boy, that's too much reality. Too much. But it is something that we all have, of these moments. In front of you, I'm offering you a gift. Dale Carnegie did a speech training, and he tells a story. One of the best speeches he ever heard was about a back door, where a lady was so nervous she couldn't get up in front of the group and talk. And with his encouragement, said, just talk about something small. And when I read that, I think about the same kind of feelings I have when I write a check. It's just a small thing that we go through every day. But it gives me a chance to explain why sometimes you see me as resisting or rebelling, but it's my connection.